Three, two, one. This meeting is being recorded by Zoom Lounge. E2 Performance.
Welcome back to another episode after
It's been
six.
right on time.
Well, that's the only perfect time.
When
Is when we're together.
has it? It's almost
been six.
a year.
Damn. I think the last ones, because we had Jason, Denza, and Steve at one point. That was during the first ever closure, I think.
That was the first
Did we do any? Did we do anything after that?
No,
We probably did a couple. Really?
I don't think so. We slowed down pretty
It's
hard.
been a year.
It
Hey.
was my fast, eh?
Well, I'm excited to do it again. I'm excited to get back to it again.
Finally, we've
And I'm sure the three listeners that we have are excited to,
like, wow, get to hang out with the boys.
get back to it. They're back.
Maybe
They're back.
Maybe it's a sign that we're gonna get over this bullshit and get back to a sense of normality or whatever normal was.
Schedule.
Is back. People will get their vaccine and whatever, and maybe life will maybe we'll get lucky, and life back to normal-ish.
Yeah. If people didn't know, we had like some sort of a schedule going on before, like Friday afternoon, Friday evening, we either go for a workout and then do our podcast, record, and then you do all the back work, obviously.
Yeah.
While you're still single with no kids, and we almost split the deal.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, we wanted to just lightly talk on it regarding Coaches Lounge. We talked a lot about habits previously, and when you lose, like, habits can really be set in motion by your environment. So everyone was going to the gym, being healthy, exercising, working out, but you had the gym. And as soon as you lose that environment, that habit starts to fall apart. The same thing happened to our podcast. Eljay would come here
It's the same.
Friday. We work out, we podcast, we had that environment set. As soon as that was taken from us via the lockdowns and no indoor gatherings, it was harder to actually kind of like keep that schedule and keep that consistency rolling forward. So habits are really enforced by your environment. And that being said, if you want to create new habits, then maybe you should consider creating an environment first. Vice versa.
Which was a little harder on our part when we didn't see each other. Although I would still say somewhat of an excuse, because we could have done this the entire time. Technically, we could have. But then again, we were also adjusting with our own schedule. Maybe sometimes I don't think I ever missed like doing a meal prep. Like that still happened on the weekends. Weekdays, we still kind of do the same. There was a better part of the lockdown though that I was still going in the gym, and then that's where I did my virtuals, and then sometimes we would do single sessions there, like when we were allowed to have clients in the gym. But like schedule wise, I think I also had a lot of clients who either lost their jobs and they have a little bit more time, and then they wanted to change their schedule up a little bit. And then us, or me talking for myself here, I just took them in as like, oh, you want to train a Friday afternoon or evening? Sure, I'll open up that schedule. I can't go to Eric's house anyway and do a podcast session. So I think that's kind of like my schedule got messed up, and then your schedule got messed up, or I wouldn't say messed up, just changed. But hey, here we are. Hey, well, what else do you want? We're back.
Like based off of the needs of other people. Like we need to be flexible in the needs of other people. So when life kind of blows up and things get chaotic, we need to be very flexible for our people. Like 2-3 years ago when we were doing like personal training and the world was normal, I had like a perfectly set schedule from like 9 till 7, 4 days a week, back-to-back clients with a perfect break to go and back-to-back clients. And then I had a 3-day weekend every day. And then like
steady.
Then as soon as COVID hit, all of a sudden I'm working like 6 days, 7 days a week all over the place.
And then you'll have like a 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. session.
Yeah, it's just a big mess. So
which almost never happened before. But again, it's I think us being adaptable to all these changes or whatever the world throws at us just shows that it doesn't matter if it's a little different or if there's changes coming. Like we just adapt to it, right, and we try and make it work best way we know how.
Yeah, I've said it before. Like the most successful people are typically those fastest who can adapt to new situations and new environments. The faster you can adapt to a new situation, the faster you're going to be able to thrive through the new situation, rather than being grounded, like locked in. Like this is what I like. I'm very much that type of person. I like having a schedule. I like knowing what I got going on the next day, like tomorrow, going forward. So, like having to be flexible is a pretty big change.
That is quite the change for. I think that goes for all of us. As a trainer, I mean, technically we have a lot more flexibility than others, but we also want a steady, normal schedule so we can do other things outside the gym, whether that's with family or clients or friends, right? Like no one wants to be working with like 2 hours or 3 hours in between. We just try and compress them as much as we can so we can do more stuff. So anyways, for this one, I'm looking forward to being steady again. I think it wasn't just helpful to the few listeners that we have, but I think for us, when we talk about things like this or when we connect, I think you're one of those people in my life here that that gives me not just information, not just like positive vibe, but it's just feel good overall, remind me of things that I'm thankful for. And we basically, I appreciate your friendship, so the more we spend time together, I feel like the better I become as a person. So really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think the more we do these podcasts, most of the topics we talk about are positive topics, and it's like the more we say it, the more it becomes a reality, right? Like it kind of gets reinforced through the conversation and like surges through those vibes, right? So
you mean we're not talking about the vaccine?
COVID?
No. What's your take on it? Should you take the vaccine or not? Okay, we're not going to get into that. That's for a different podcast.
That's
for the future.
Yikes.
Is that something that people would want to hear? Hey, give us a feedback. If you're listening to this, give us a feedback. If you want the what were we gonna call it? I can't remember now.
Controversial podcast.
Yeah, but just like the uncut, no walls, no boundaries.
That's a good way to get shot real quick. Just for everybody out there, we have obviously been not quite as interactive on the podcast. Life has been different. We've changed quite a bit. On my end of things, because we've been working less, when we go back to work, I've cranked my schedule. I work a lot, and then when we get locked down, things slow down a little bit for me. I fill that space with doing different things. I worked a lot on the garage gym here, where I have cable machine here now. I've laid down new flooring. I've painted the garage. I painted the ceiling, like everything. So I spent a lot of work doing stuff like that. And currently I'm studying a new course for the NSCA and trying to learn Vietnamese while I have this downtime. I think we're going back to work soon, like maybe 2 weeks or something. So for these last 2 weeks, I'm just going to try to.
By the time they hear this, it'll probably be about a week or a week and a half. So,
yeah. So during these lockdowns, I just try to appreciate the time that we have to do new things, like different things. And then when we go back, I'm going to appreciate the time that I have helping all of my clients, helping all my people, spending time, right? Like regardless of circumstance, I try to make the best of the situation, right? So that's what I've done to make the best of the lockdowns for me. What have you been doing? Like, I think you've been working a little bit more.
I mean, I've been working still pretty steady, but as the people who would be listening to this know, and you would know, I would normally work like 12, 13-hour days on a normal day.
Yeah.
Right? With like an hour or two of a break to take care of myself. Lately, before the lockdown, I wasn't able to do that because we could not train groups. So all our groups basically broke into like a one-on-one session. Now you got to give them all time. So instead of having like 8 people in like a 2-hour span, now you got to find like 6 hours in a day to fit all those 8 people in.
Yeah.
So I got really busy there. When the lockdown started, I actually took the first week of that lockdown to like just appreciate being home, being with the kids and the wife. So I spent a lot of time with them, like literally just the most simple things. We'd go for like a bike ride, or we'd go for, we'd go to a playground, or just walk around the neighborhood, or play in the living room, literally hide and seek, from hide and seek to like tickle time to like just all sorts of like things that we don't have to spend money on, but it's just us spending time together. One of the more productive things that I did, for those of you guys who don't know, I have 4 kids. I have taught my first 3 girls now. Jalen was the very last one, which was like 3 weeks ago, to ride her bike without training wheels. That is a win, right? This is like a skill that they will never ever forget.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because I knew I wanted to do it this year for her. She turned 5 this year, and I wanted to do it this year. And then the lockdown basically just kind of like, hey, not much to do.
Yeah.
You want to go to a parking lot? I'll teach you. But we only needed like 4 30-minute sessions, and she was good to go.
Yeah.
And then now the hard part is I'm trying to slow her down. Like when I see her zip around the parking lot here, I'm like, my goodness, just watch out for cars, other kids, other bikes, slow down a little bit. Yeah. We know she's the wild one in this house. So, but I've been busy with it. Huh?
That's the essence of life, though. Like you go too fast and you slip and fall and you hurt yourself. That's how you listen, right? Like don't touch the stove because it's hot.
Yeah.
You touch it and you learn real quick. Like,
yeah,
we don't want to learn
real quick.
That is life.
Yeah, but yeah, again, depending on someone's outlook, I think some people that I know, unfortunately, just like completely shut down, just didn't do much, don't want to do much work, don't want to do like just anything really. Some of them even stayed indoors for the most part, which for me as a fitness professional, it was just a little sad. It was a little sad. But I think what you did with your garage, if you guys want to look at our first few episodes when Eric and I were recording in his garage, or hey, has it been 2 years? Was it 2 years ago? Our first podcast.
About that, yeah.
If you guys will see the difference of how the garage looks right now and how it looked back then.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Which is also a good example that, it doesn't have to be perfect for it to work right away. That goes the same with nutrition, goes the same with exercise, that goes the same with movement. Doesn't have to be super perfect and pretty before you start. You can start slow, start small, but you got to keep moving forward. And look at your garage now, right?
Yeah. We were so hesitant, honestly. Like when we started this podcast, we were like, my brain was like, man, I want a good equipment right away. Like we need a setup, and like we need to be perfect from day one. And you're like, no, bro, let's just put the laptop webcam on. Let's record for fun. And it just
thousands of likes, thousands of shares. like our heads was like, man, just start.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah, just doing that, like, yeah, it's definitely evolved and it's grown into something obviously that's more comfortable for us. And regardless whether, like for me, regardless whether it's like 5 people listen to it or 100 people listen to it, like obviously it's nice to see a little bit of growth, have like a little bit more support and like help more people and like a little bit more community and spread positive influence. But just doing it is valuable to me, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. For those of you guys don't know, I don't even know if this is something you need to know. We just do this because we enjoy it. We do this because this is one way that we can communicate a lot. Like sometimes even when we have a client in front of us, we only get an hour with them,
which is not a lot.
We cannot talk about everything we want to talk about, share all the information that we want to share. And I think that's why Eric and I both agreed that in any relationships that you're going to have, whether that's someone really close to you or someone a little bit further away. Communication is one really good thing that if we master, or if we do more of, I think we will have quality relationships moving forward. This is one way of us communicating to you. One way you can communicate back is whether through that's a comment or reach out to us. Most of you guys who will listen to this would know, even it'll be that personal. You know our phone numbers, or you have us on Facebook or Instagram anyways, right? Which I will be, most likely, because of this, I will be turning on my Instagram.
Right.
So
and Facebook.
that's
Shared on Facebook.
And Facebook. A lot of people, I guess, don't know that, or some of them did, but I decided, I don't even know how long it's been.
A while.
Right? I think it's been at least 4 months, probably a little longer.
Of no social media.
Of no social media for me.
Yeah.
Right? Just for me. It got replaced by a lot of YouTube, but a lot of YouTube would be like learning stuff. I'm learning a lot about mountain biking right now. Kind of like, well, just biking in general, right? Like all the terms, all the parts of a mountain bike. I'm starting to enjoy it. And this is a shout out if he will ever listen to one of yours. One of your clients. His name's you allowed to drop names? Yeah, man. I'm thankful. Eugene, right? He gave me a bike, got me started in this journey. So I hope to look back to this day, this podcast, and just, like see where I started. Like yesterday I did my first 3-pedal wheelie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I almost fell. I think that's why my ankle's a little sore today, but I don't know. Could be too much sugar too.
Yeah.
Or too much bad food, or the beer that you brought me last Monday. Could be one of those. But I'm happy that the gym is gonna open soon, hopefully soon, real soon. And we can all go back to a routine. Because even if I talk about my fitness right now, fitness level, I think it's still pretty high, although completely different than what fitness was for me 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, right? Like I enjoyed the gym and the barbell and maybe a little bit of running here and there, but like right now, because of not really lack of equipment, I pretty much have everything here. You donated a barbell to me. I got plates here, dumbbells, kettlebells. I have the air bike behind me. I'm not sure if people can see that right there, right?
Yeah.
And then a pull-up bar, dip bar, courtesy of Steve. I have everything here, but because of the mountain bike and because of the good weather that we've had lately, that's been kind of like my fitness. It's like I ride the bike every day, and then like probably 3 or 4 times a week, some resistance training. That's it. You have been more solid though, I think.
Yeah. That's just because I have everything that I want and enjoy. For me, a big one was getting the cable machine. I love cable machines for doing like my accessory work, like my arms and shoulders and things like that. I really just enjoy the feeling of it and the smoothness of it. So, but yeah, having like barbell, dumbbells, bands, kettlebells, punching bag, treadmill, skipping ropes, rings, like I have all the toys that I want. So it doesn't really feel like I lost the gym. It felt like I lost the community. I like talking to people.
Absolutely.
I miss even just being able to, I actually now having this gym, I never really invited that many people over to work out with me. Like it was very few, like very small selection of people would come. I kind of regret doing that. Like I wish that I would have just spent more time inviting friends over to come and just work out with me. Just like I realized the value behind that. And it also pushes me a little bit harder too when I'm having fun, and it makes it just, it's a community thing, right? So I think when COVID's over, I think I'm going to try to get in the habit of actually inviting more like friends and family to come and like share this experience with me, because this is something that I love, and I think I'd like to share it better with my family and friends. So that's
exciting. You guys will probably see more videos of us in there.
Yeah. So to rewind this really quickly, and then we're going to wrap this baby up. Rewind is Eljay killed his social media for a long time there, just to reset his brain, which I think is really good for you. I tried to reset mine. I got off of social media for maybe a month, and then I turned it back on, trying to have a better with it, and then I turned it off again. It was finding to just be a giant distraction with not a hell of a lot of value. And I've turned it back on now. And yeah, it's just a love-hate relationship. Like I love the opportunity to be able to share and connect with a little bit of people. But if I start turning into too much time wasting or too much of a negative comparison, because I follow a lot of athletes, and if I follow these athletes and like, man, they're so jacked, or man, they like do such amazing feats of strength, or they're like the 1%. It makes me feel like I'm not very good. So this comparison game, like, it's honestly a mental illness. I think people comparing. If you compare to the higher up, like if you're comparing upwards, like you beat yourself up. Like, man, I'm not here with these guys. These guys make me feel less than. But it's just as easy to compare myself to somebody who's down here and be like, man, I'm a rock star compared to that guy down there. Yeah. Either way, it's a sickness, in my opinion. If you're comparing up, comparing yourself down, or if you need to compare yourself to less than to lift yourself up, I think that is a sickness mentally. So I think reaching a state of like not comparing to others and just being compassionate and understanding of everyone's scenarios and situations. Like there's a reason people are at the top. There's a reason there are people lower, and there's a reason where you are. Being compassionate and understanding is the way to get around that, I think.
Yeah, and for me, I'm hoping for when I turn mine on, right? It's literally just to produce, to reach out, open up another form of communication to other people, just to be able to continue what we enjoy doing. You know, helping people, communicating, hanging out with different groups of people, even. Right. I just want that to be the gateway for more quality relationships. But obviously, again, it's I think it's very addicting. And I think upwards of 98, 99% would probably agree that, you know, like you don't even notice when you're just scrolling, and then all of a sudden 20 minutes pass by, 30 minutes pass by. It's just entertainment is very addicting, and when it's in the palm of your hand, literally, it's you know, I feel like there's a lot of time wasted, and again, the comparison almost automatically happens just because it's all in there. It's all in there, right? So I will be consciously. It's like reintroducing food to someone who got a little sick. I will be reintroducing social media to myself, but I'm going to be hopefully conscious enough to just do the right thing, which means to either produce or connect and not really consume as much. So
cool. Well, we should wrap that baby up. E2 Performance.
Guys, we miss you. Not sure how much you guys missed us, but hey, we're back. So
we're back.